So here I am at the one and only Blair County Courthouse. This is in the middle of Hollidaysburg, Pennsylvania. Population around 5,000 people. And for the exact address of this location, it is 423 Allegheny Street, Hollidaysburg, Pennsylvania. This courthouse was already here when the war was occurring. It's been here for about 5 to 6 dozen years, and it was a local center for the war. So when, for example, when troops were called in, this is the place they were reported to. This is where their registration cards were signed and reported to. This is the official government building of Blair County. This is where locals in World War II would come, sign their card, submit paperwork, all of that necessary stuff, and this is where historically it is stored. If you really think about it, this place serves the same purpose today. If there would be a draft, this is the place I would report to. If I am called in for jury duty, place I go to. Nothing has changed. 100 years later, 150 years later, it's been created. Still the same purpose. The courthouse is made a lot of stone, so the specific is Ohio Massilian sandstone. That's what a lot of the courthouse is made out of. Hard blocks. This was not a temporary structure at all. This is here to last literally as long as it can last. Burns down. I mean, it's not going to. It's made out of brick, but that's what it's here for. And the roof is made of slate. They're saying that they're going to replace the roof with slate tiles. They are doing some work on that side of the courthouse, repairs. Needs some power washing, obviously, like many other local buildings in the Altoona area that are old, one being examples Cathedral. But like I said, all stone, Gothic revival style. If we think about our lectures in about 1941 in Blair County, many are thinking they're not going to be involved in this World War II. No one wants to be involved in this war. But after Pearl Harbor, the very next day, the president declares war on Japan, and there is a much needed call for troops. So this is the place where all those drafts were made. All those draft registration cards were made and signed. So this is a 1940, early 40s postcard of the Hollidaysburg Courthouse. So you can buy these online. They're all over eBay. This is exactly what they're portraying the courthouse to look like as in the 1940s. This part of the courthouse is under current restoration. And while this is the paper 2 days after the events of Pearl Harbor out of Centre County, this is how students felt in Centre County, Penn State University. They say over 80% of students blame Hitler for the atrocities that occurred at Pearl Harbor. From by the time Pearl Harbor occurred to by the time of July 1st, 1942, there were already at least 5 registrations for the war for many ages of individuals. It's notable to mention that by June 30th, 1942, young men aged 18 to 20 were registered for the war, or at least required to do so. And it would have been taken by the courthouse for them to submit their cards at that very place, the Blair County Courthouse, for all who were drafted by July 1st, 1942, within the 5 registrations within the Blair County area. This very ground that I stand on helps connect something that is very important in the war that does not involve the battlefields, which is the home front, a very local building. Again, you remove one of these buildings, local home fronts in the United States, the course of history changes. So this was very important. It's astounding to think that 80, 90 years later, the building carries out the similar purposes that it carries out today. It's so astounding that 83, bound to be 84 years ago in 3 weeks, we have our 4th registration process going for war drafting. The only thing that seemed to disappoint me is that there's a lack of World War II or even World War I artifacts represented on the property. There's not a lot of honoring the soldiers, other than a tree that's not even planted there anymore, but there is a plaque for that. The building hasn't really aged in my eyes. It still gets used for the same purposes as of today, from the 83, 84 years ago that it was being used for. It is still used for the same purpose